And I would like to invite Roman Kirsanov. He is the founder of Erelis company, who use a lot of DJI drones with different kind of equipment. Roman has a set of LiDAR equipment, several P1 cameras, and finally he chose our 61 megapixel camera. And I would like to invite Roman to share his experience. Hello, Roman. How are you?
Hi, Maxim. Hi to everybody. Sorry for my late joining. It's too much work due to TOPODRONE.
So now you can, Roman, now you can process data in real time.
So this is actually what I'm doing now. Yeah, this is actually what I'm doing now. Okay. So thank you for opportunity to share my experience. And okay, so the topic of my presentation, yes, as Maxim said, it's probably the case study, let's say, about comparison of TOPODRONE 61 megapixel new camera with the DJI P1. That it's also excellent camera, and we have used for this camera a lot of, let's say, almost 1 year. Yes, so let me to start my presentation and to share the screen. Okay, share. You can see it? Yep. Okay. Now, so the main idea was to test this new camera with the comparison with the DJI Zenmuse P1 and to check probably the efficiency, because with the P1 camera we have it's a little bit tricky, because for this camera actually we're using for projects of large area mapping, okay, and corridor mapping. And it's because of the 35 millimeter lens, it's take a lot of images, it's take a lot of time, depend which altitude, of course, we're flying, but it's not every time available to fly with the 240 meters flight altitude, because you know Israel, it's a very small country, and all our airspace, it's CVFAR control. So not in every space we have a capability to fly in to fly over the flights that probably according to the rules. Of course, it's required from us to ask special permissions and so on and so on. So the equipment we're talking about, it's as I said, TOPODRONE 61 megapixel PPK with 24 millimeters lens, and Zenmuse P1 45 megapixels with 35 millimeter lens. So the mission planning was performed with the DJI Pilot in order to simplify the testing process, okay, and ensure that we running on the same parameters for both cameras, okay. As you can see, it's TOPODRONE 61 megapixels, okay, was defined as a custom payload. And here we have the first advantage of the TOPODRONE camera. It's probably the estimated flight, it's 6 minutes for this area, okay. This area, you can see, it's almost 1 kilometer by 350 meters, and the flight estimation, it's all 7 minutes, okay. The overlap that we decide, it's overlap of 14 side and 18% front. Based on our experience, it's pretty enough overlap for projects of large mappings. By the way, we are also working with the companies. We are probably, our company work with the planes, and we providing the services of operations for the camera, and so I have a little experience also with, let's say, these works also. And of course, of speed of flight, it was the maximum speed of 15 meters per second. You can see also for DJI P1, it's pretty same parameters, okay, but the flights, it's already estimated 3 minutes more, okay, so it's almost 40% more time, okay. We found some probably bug in the DJI one, in the DJI pilot, the estimation of the images, it's somehow multiplied in the, actually it's take 420 something images and for P1 camera and 216 images for TOPODRONE 61 megapixel camera. I don't know why, maybe it's some bug of the DJI pilot, but we discovered this probably in correction. You can see that the actual images in the reports that I can show you after. So this is execution stage. Okay, the flight was executed in the same day with the both camera, with the normal parameters of the light. Okay, the clear sky, and here this example for a data set of 61 megapixel camera, and you can see the parameters of the single shot and the quality of the image are excellent. Okay, in total you can see also you can compare with the DJI P1 camera, the footprint. You can see how big the footprint of the 61 megapixel camera of TOPODRONE due to lens. I don't understand the catch of the DJI, why they not provide a different lens for P1, but it's a fact. Okay, I don't know why, but for 35 megapixel, you can see the footprint, it's much less. And probably the difference between two cameras in the images, it's 2 times. So the orthophoto was produced with the Pix4D software. For both cameras, it's not any problems. There is no any cracks on the raster, not any holes. It looks very nice. Of course, Maxim, you can share the source files as ECW or GeoTIFF. We share as well with you. With P1, probably, I don't know why, but with the same parameters of the camera, with the same, pretty same parameters of the shutter and also the, sorry, just, I mean, the same parameters of the shutter and the, why, forgot this name, aperture. The P1 orthophoto, it's a little bit dark. Okay, the orthophoto from 61 megapixel, it looks more colorful, more, as I said, true. Probably the same, the quality we're getting also for the planes, for the phase 1 or Hasselblad that we are actually working on the planes. So the processing reports generated for both projects, and here you can see the accuracy is okay. Okay, we use for this project just for GCP because it's a little bit small area and PPK technology allows to do it. So the accuracy was, you can see, 18 millimeters. The number of the calibrated images, it's 215, okay, for a TOPODRONE camera. Comparison to the P1, it's 436 images. It's twice more, yeah. And probably you can see also for the overlapping, whole project was done very successfully, but in some cases, some clients, the request, they are working, probably some of the clients are interested just to get the pictures, okay, and they probably doing the stitching by themselves, and then the large number of images create really big problem for them, because it's taking too much to process. For example, for this area, it took 436 images, yes, but for the areas for 3 square kilometers, it took 2,500, and it's became the real problem. So, and as a test conclusions, I want also to summarize the advantages of these two cameras, okay? Because for a disadvantage, we can go to the hours of polemic about the disadvantages, and it's depend from process of application, and everybody uses this camera for own purposes. But let's start from the TOPODRONE. As we discovered, okay, it's a very high efficient tool. It's very good performance for aerial mapping works, okay, of huge areas at pretty low altitudes. And I put the pretty low altitudes because, again, as I said, there is a lot of restrictions in every country. There is a little bit different law for UAV, especially in our country. As I said, we have the CVFR airspace, okay, and in some regions to fly the altitude above 120 meters, okay, it's became the real problem, okay. We need for coordination with the military, with the authorities, and instead to perform the project in 1-2 days, it can stretch for weeks, okay, until we're waiting for approval for our flight plan. And for us, it's very important because we, as a certified operator, we strictly follow the air law, okay, because it's one of the solid rules, okay, to follow rules and to work by the book. So for this reason, this camera really provides very good results and very good efficiency, okay, for this kind of works. The second advantage point, it's a multitasking of PPK solution with changeable lens and integration with the other products of TOPODRONE, of course. For example, as Maxim said, we're using the also LiDAR, and we're using the other, also the mobile LiDAR, and this camera can be integrated also with the LiDAR system, with LiDAR 100, 200, and the new brand that 64, that probably already announced. Yes, Maxim, as I know. So it's a good multitasking, as said, as probably one of the major reasons for this webinar. It's also the multispectral lens, okay. So in one camera, one tool, we can get a lot of profit and a lot of probably the areas of application. And the third one, it's a cheaper price in the comparison to the other cameras. For example, as I said, we are working with the Hasselblad and the well-known, very great cameras like Hasselblad and Phase 1, but the price, it's pretty high in the comparison to this one. So this is the the three, let's say, the major points, advantages of the camera. And of course, it will be silly to not agree that also the product of the DJI, it's very good camera, and but little bit more more fitable for the other works. For example, we think it's one of the best solutions for the corridor mapping, okay, with a high quality of perspective images. We have a lot of projects for mapping of the roads, and really this camera doing his job. It's very easy, okay, with it's very probably easy to work with the RTK, because in Israel we have 2 VRS station systems, okay. So for the corridor mapping, it's really, really nice too. The second one, it's user-friendly usage for the work process, as I said, with the RTK models and original DJI app, and firmware update and support include the DJI Care. It's also one of the advantages of the camera. Okay, you don't need to invent some solutions. Okay, it's one brand, just plugging in and go to work. The third one, it's a simple data management that every project, okay, can store in the different folders, okay, and it's very really nice to work, okay. So we spending not too much time for the processing, okay. Every project is stored in there in different folder. It's also very nice too. So this is the more or less that I want to tell about our test. If you have some questions, I would like to answer.
Roman, yeah, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your presentation, and it was a good idea to invite you, that you share your experience of using different type of cameras. And you know that, and we know that you use a lot of TOPODRONE equipment as well. And you just said that you use our LiDAR system installed in the car for mobile scanning, as I know. And could you remember which accuracy did you receive? Several centimeters from mobile LiDAR system, or which one?
About 4 millimeters in the
4
millimeters.
Yeah, this one is an advantage of TOPODRONE equipment. So you can use the LiDAR, which was designed for drone survey. After that, you can remove the LiDAR from the drone. You can install it on the car. We prepare special software to process data on the car, and after that, you can use it like a mobile scanning system. The same situation with the camera. So it's not the only simple solution just to plug in. Yes, no, it's a plugin. Of course, it's easy to use, but you can change the lens. You can you can install, for example, 50 millimeters lens, and you can get very detailed images if you need for 3-dimensional mapping. But if you need to cover a large area, you just install original Sony 18 millimeter lens. Or you can change the lens and install a multispectral data. And this flexibility provides you provides you opportunity to open new spaces for your activities, for your companies. You can find a lot of new areas in the multispectral survey and 3-dimensional mapping, and you don't need to buy several cameras. And as soon as inside of this camera we use Sony sensor with a wide working range, wide range, you will get accurate results everywhere in multispectral survey, in RGB survey, in photogrammetry survey, and this is a great advantage. And Roman,
this
the
is
first
exactly
question.
What we did. Yes.
Yeah, and this is why I think Roman already bought a LiDAR system camera, because he understood that every year we expand the usability of our solution. We don't, of course, we design a new equipment, but additionally we expand the usability of our old equipment. And for example, right now we designed a LiDAR system which can be installed on the drone, on the car. But the next step, we will add a new functions, and we will add SLAM technology inside of LiDAR systems. And at the same time, we have a lot of areas where you can use already existing equipment. For example, I would like to share the screen. I would like to share the screen just to show the screen, and I would like to show our website. And as you can see, Roman already said that it's possible to use the same 61 megapixel camera together with our LiDAR, but installed on a helicopter, UAV helicopter, unmanned helicopter, which can fly more than 1.5 hours. And the helicopter can carry, is able to carry 4 kilogram payload, or you can fly with your LiDAR 100 together with your 61 megapixel camera installed on this helicopter. And the big advantage of this helicopter, instead of, for example, VTOL, that helicopter can fly slowly on certain areas where you need to get more detailed results. And for large area survey, it can fly faster. And helicopter can fly on any altitude in comparison with VTOL, which is not able to fly on low altitude, or something like 30 meters, 60 meters for VTOL. It's not possible. So, and this one, it's a great advantage. So you can take your equipment from DJI drone, install on a helicopter, install multispectral camera, install RGB camera, and you will get very efficient survey. Okay, and some questions. Roman, in relation to the price of 61 megapixel TOPODRONE camera is more expensive than P1. What do you think? What is your experience?
Nothing. Because I have some problem with my Zoom.
Okay.
Let me to reconnect.
Okay. Okay, I will explain. So 61 megapixel camera costs a little bit higher than 45 megapixel P1 camera, but it provides a great flexibility, wide range of, it can be used in wide range application, and of course it provides a better quality of the images in case of resolution or working range. We have another one question. Does 61 megapixel camera has a rain protection? Right now we didn't realize usability of rain protection because it's not possible to fly in the rain with the drone. But of course we can add IP protection. Why? Because it's our production, and if you look at the screen, there is no any buttons here for 61 megapixel camera. What we need just to close all connectors, so you can fly in humidity. Next question. It is also important to know that not only do you have many more images with P1, but the total amount of the data to process is also much higher because of the overlap required on each photo, which adds to the total data process. Exactly. So with our camera, you will get less number of images, you will get less number of amount of data, and you will spend less time to process data with the high for larger area. So with larger sensor of RGB61, you need fewer images, and the total gigabyte of data will be less for each project compared with using a P1 camera. Even so, you have 61 megapixel camera with 45 megapixel camera. Exactly, it's a good good notice. Can the 61 megapixel camera take oblique pictures like the P1? we are talking together with we are working together with UGCS to provide this function in UGCS software. I think in general it's possible to do, but what we need to ask. We already have asked UGCS to add this function for us. But I would like to say thank you for UGCS that they add video support for our camera. Before it was not available, but right now video support for our camera is available. So guys, do you have any questions so far? I would like to say thank you to Ira, to Roman, to Maxim, and if you add something to our presentation to describe more in more details, Ira or Roman, just a few words from you, and we will finish today. Finish. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your coming. Oh, another one question. What would be the feasibility of flying the P61 on a plane? Yeah, it's easy. As soon as our camera can be combined with the LiDAR system, and you can install on the on a aerial platform, so you can use it. And Roman already said that they already.
I think, Maxim, I think it's a little bit. Would be useless, so it's better to wait for the 100 megapixel.
Yeah,
because the best resolution normally now provided by the operators for plane, it's 5 GSD. Okay, but for example, for 100 megapixel Hasselblad, in order to get the resolution of 5 GSD, as I remember, we need to fly 1,300 feet, something around this. So the one of the best idea with this camera, as I said, yes, because for a lot of projects, even with the planes, yes, that required some permission to fly, yes, we can wait weeks, yes, until the flight will be performed. But with this camera, probably you can cover the I think 99% the requirements, yes, from the client for the GSD, yes, because this camera provides much better. For the plane, as I think it's not so good idea, but for sure there is a place for test, yes.
Let me add something. You know, we have customers using the 61, the Sony A7R4 with our quad lens for forestry in Australia from altitudes, using them on drones, military grade drones flying at 500 meters doing the job.
Yeah.
Not 500 feet, but 500 meters.
500 meters.
Yes.
Of course, if we combine 50 millimeters lens or more, if we increase the resolution, I think the next product will be 100 megapixel camera. Of course, we will increase the productivity and we will move in another one area, definitely. But right now, I would like to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for your participation and stay tuned. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.